What's up, guys? C to Seattle here at Black Dot Coffee. Honored to be here tonight with the legendary Goldy McJohn. How are you, Goldy?
I'm just doing great, man. How about yourself?
Really well.
It's
really
good to
well.
see you.
Good to see you again.
It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Yeah.
We first met down at the award show, didn't we? Was the Hot Rocks TV award show.
That's right.
Here, that's for you. Just kidding.
I fell for it.
Turn
I
the
was
phone
just
off.
doing the camera.
Turn the phone off.
I love the blues. We were a blues band with, and you think about this, Steppenwolf was a blues band who had 2, almost 3 #1 hits. The reason we didn't have the third, Rock Me, as a #1 or 10 even, it made it to 43, and we were at WLS in Chicago, the Drake stations, the guy Bill Drake, who owned all the AM stations all over the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we were taking a picture in the hallway after we did this really cool interview on the station, and in the foyer there's this American flag behind us, and the picture is supposed to be the band of us and Steppenwolf Solidarity, right? Well, as Bill Drake opens up the door, Michael Monarch, the guitar player, is blowing his nose on the American flag, and he went, "Well, I don't know who they were," and shut the door. And we went right off of AM stations. John and I would ride in our limo, right? So we had this John insisted on this really nice 600 Pullman. And one day he's standing out there, he's got his big black cowboy hat on, he's got his black leather caped coat on and his black leather pants and boots. And he's standing out there, and Jerry goes, stop the car, right, up in Nichols Canyon. And here he is, he's practicing his waiting for the limo, right, and he would hit himself on the back of the head and all kinds of stuff, and Jerry and I were just killing ourselves. So I called him back about 2 weeks later, and it was the owner's birthday. Oh, just give him one, right? So they sponsored me, and that's been my first sponsor in decades, man. It was really, really a thrill to be on the same page with Wakeman and all the guys that are using these things now, because they pack a little punch
now
for their size, man.
We heard you play. We covered the show down for your 65th birthday at Hard Rock Cafe.
Oh yeah, that was a night to remember that I don't think will ever be forgotten and redone, unless when I turn 66. And,
we can do another one.
Yeah, make it a date. That's the Ed Sullivan Show, right?
That's the video I saw that was in black and white.
Right? And that isn't what I wore on stage. This is going back and forth to the Plaza Hotel, going, well, how many times do they want us to, right? Till we ended up getting real stupid and putting, crazy gluing the lamps to the ceiling and the whole 9 yards, right? And William Morris Agency had us then, and Peter Golden and our manager Stanton Freeman, and they're all like, "Oh no, come on guys, come on, no, this time for sure," right? And then we did a medley of 3 songs, and we thought that'd be it, right? And all of a sudden, bang, Ed comes over and he talks to us each individually. And it was like, talk about, huh? Right? New kid on the block, right? I had an 805 number call me once, and I turned a guy down. I wouldn't let, I said I already have a singer. It was Steve Perry. back in 75, right in Los Angeles. Anyways, that's what you get for fooling around.
Well,
right? So slowly, I wrote all that out in my own way on goldymcjohn.com, my website, right? And I have a real loyal bunch of fans on that site, man. They're just sweet people. The president of the record company called me and he said, I want to make sure that anything that's got your name on it, you at least get whatever percentage of that song is. Number two, I'm really sad that these guys did that to you, you know, because we're not talking about a couple $100,000. We're talking about $10 to $15 million and a complete lifestyle change. All my kids taking care of it, and all my grandkids, etc. This guy built 3 of them. They're in black cases. They were powered by 1,000-watt phase linears, all the guts taken out, 2 Leslies on both sides, 500 watts apiece, just screaming. I ran, and they were in these molded cases that were just flight worthy as a mother, right?
Road ready, right?
They made a black one for me, a black one for Stephen Stills, and a white one for Billy Preston. And I left it in LA thinking I'd come up here, square the romance and marriage and with my 3rd wife, which turned into nothing but bollocks. I'd barely been here a month, and Steve Marriott calls me, right? And he goes, "You won't go out on the road, mate?" Right? And I went, "Who is this?" Right? He says, "You ever hang up on me again?" So I didn't believe it, right?
Right.
It's just too good to be true, right? "Don't ever do it again, mate. I'll have you." Right? Right? So, yeah, we spent 6 weeks on the road, 2 weeks off. He'd fly me back up to Seattle. I'm quaaluding around just out of my gourd, right? I've got some great stuff on tape that I did with Davy Johnson's band, Elton's band, Davy Johnson being the leader of it, right? Elton was out shopping for something for a while, and he had some lover in Vancouver, and we went in the studio, and there's just a host of great musicians on this thing. But it was like, okay, Goldy, go for it, right? What Robbie Robertson did when it was Levon and the Hawks back in Toronto, the original band, Ronnie Hawkins and the Hawks, and Robbie used to tell kids, well, the way I get my sound is that I take a razor blade on the edge of the speaker, on the cone part, and just make little slices, right? He finally apologized to every kid out there in the world. He went, "I know that was cruel, but it's called technique." Hello?
Automatic distortions.
It's the same as when, what's his name? The great Eric Clapton. He flew to Toronto to talk to Robbie. And he said, "God, I'd love to be in your band, mate." He said, "Well, what would you be doing? Tuning my guitar?"
Oh,
right? Yeah, he's Native American, Native Canadian, right? And a lot of people don't know that. We met him at the Commodore up in Vancouver. Played the gig, went over great. Then we moved down the coast. And I mean, we went da 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 over right on Highway 1 coast, right down there, and all these great little clubs that people were, the places were absolutely packed out and down the street, and they all had harmonicas. And he finally stopped and he said, "Hey, listen, I love you, but half of you are out of tune. You don't have the right key you're playing in, so just shut the up and let me do my job, okay?" Right? It was great. But he refused to fly, so he'd rent a car and meet us at each gig as we drove down, right? And then I put him up at the Montecito and loaded up the bus and the equipment truck, and we headed out on our southwest tour because we went from McJohn to Southern Pacific, and the album was going to be called Pulling Trains, right? Subtle. But we get to this club, and we're sitting there, and there's like 3 people in this club, and the owner's just, he's freaking out. And I'm like, well, why is he freaking out? He's freaking out because Paul decided that, who's Goldy, right? I'd rather go with the band and do the last waltz. So he was a no-show. I had to pay back the owner the $1,000. He let us stay out in the back, which you could, it was so cold, it was ridiculous. And I had to give him the $1,000 deposit back, but we were doing all these great originals, right? Strong as could be. And there's these group of guys in the very back of this club. And every time we start a song and finish it, they start laughing like crazy, man. Like, Hollywood, all this razzing, right?
Right.
It's the Dixie Dregs. Right? Oh, God. That was funny. And so we tucked our tails and went, well, this is over. Just like I say, when I talked to Hoyt, God bless him, rest in peace, Hoyt Axton, his first big song was Greenback Dollar. He had already written The Pusher. Then I'm watching TV one day, and here's this movie called Smokey with Fess Parker as the good son and featuring Hoyt Axton as the bad son, right, of this cowboy killer for hire.
What movie was that?
Called Smokey.
Oh, it's called Smokey.
Yeah, right? And he finally showed up on the scene to this ranch looking for his brother and just getting into all kinds of crap, right? Getting his brother in trouble and stuff like that. But he was singing songs and getting on horses and bouncing all over. Well, he had a little ranch way out in the sticks from Los Angeles, right? And my second wife, she rode horses, and you guys have to live in Hollywood and close by because that's where we are, that's where the business is. And it's like, I don't think so, you know. We live anywhere we want. We know where we gotta be, what time, and Friday morning, and you know, what's the big deal? So people started going, hey, we're gonna move out of the LA area, right? So we were looking at this ranch, and Hoyt comes stumbling over the fence, and he goes, "Hi, Goldy, what are you doing here?" I said, "Hi, we're looking at this piece of ranch here. My wife and I, she rides, and you know, we want to get out of the city." And he says, "I don't blame you. My son and I are going up to the mountains for the weekend." All right. So he goes up to the mountains with his kid, comes back and goes, "I can't believe it." And by the way, his mom wrote Heartbreak Hotel, for the record. His son, late at night, went, "Dad, what's that?" He said, "Well, that's a bullfrog. Do you want to name it?" Right? Jeremiah, right? I mean, give me a break, you know? Some guys just, and then he was the first guy also, and Bill, his manager, it was like pulling teeth, man. But he was the guy who did the very first McDonald's commercial in Los Angeles, is where it started. And here's Hoyt with his acoustic guitar and his leather gear on and his suedes and his cowboy boots and all 300 pounds of muscle and joy, and just, you know, it's like same as Howlin' Wolf. He didn't need a microphone. He had such a huge voice and such projection, right? And so yeah, he was a character. God bless him. For about a year or two now, I've been going right between the sound machines. I like to dream, yes, yes. And it's like, yes, yes? We let that go by? I mean, shouldn't have been, yeah, baby, yeah, or something like that, right?
You would think.
You know, what it is, right? I like to dream,
Guys, stay tuned for more. We're going to continue this interview. We're going to get more and more and more and more stories coming. Goldie,
hey,
we look forward, man,
thanks, man.
To hearing your new stuff and following your new project up
thanks,
here.
Man.
Pick up some of his coffee. There'll be more of where this comes from.